All right, so my reasoning for doing this is because I find it hard to sit down and want to read a book just because I find that there are some interesting parts about books, but a lot of books I don't really find interesting, but I figure reading is reading, so why don't I just read something I enjoy? And these I will read out because oh my god. I will show you what the original post is, but first I just want to read these. I can't remember the last one I left off on. I think it's the Adam Reeves. This one I didn't react to it quite yet because I thought of this as an idea of just a reading without having to read, but it's still a reading because the only difference between a book and this is the authors and well, there's many authors to this compared to a book just having one and or two or three authors, depending on authors, illustrators, and where the information is pulled from. Either way, too much talking. Back to the reading of this. Truth was the preferred offering, but was withheld. I pondered what I desired to share, knowing the more honorable option would not leave my lips. Rather, I choose falsification, deceiving the mind to make it believe in a fiction that could betray your trust. It was honey in your ears, but sharp and nearly deafening in my own. Deafening in my own. This is how you write a 500 word paper. Okay. I gave you a mirage to quench your thirst. I built my story on bent nails and old wood while the palette of brick and mortar went untouched. I gave them the drama that was yearned for, acting out my finest work, the anchor of the reality keeping me forced in the performance. The reality of the situation fell like hail on the weight of my soul, and to spare you the maelstrom, I delivered something for more. I delivered something for more palatable. I wrapped silence around the truth until even I forgot its shape. The best, though, I painted truth with stole colors, hoping you would never see the brush strokes. Now, I'm not saying I was a liar, but I'm not saying I'm a truther either. My mouth moved faster than my brain, saying that of which I did not and could not mean. I practiced this over and over, but not so I could convince them, but to convince myself. Flavor and fact had parted ways while I described to you what was revealed. Oops, seems I may have told a little fib. Each breath is each breath in suppressed the truth, while each breath out carried a serpent's promise. I have no idea why I struggled to read that. I want to read it one more time. Each breath is suppressed the truth, while each breath out carried a serpent's promise. Maybe because of where I paused originally. Thought they were very well acquainted. It wasn't truth's hand my words held as they tumbled from my lips. I tied my words in a bow in the way that doesn't shoot so I don't hurt you. The truth would hurt. I told you what would heal. And as the truth would not escape my lips, I told you a story. Strangely enough, my lips still found a way to betray the truth of how I actually felt. I left out the details I thought were minuscule. The words that were spewed were thought over and severely calculated. Although, when asked from time to time, my memory fails to keep up with the maze I presented. Just like any good magician, I had you focusing on what I wanted you to, not what you should have been. And the truth stayed locked away like a distant memory of an old friend that withers away over time. I spoke softly and whispered nothing, and all the things I said, none of them were never there. My words fell on her ears like writings of a fiction book. Immediately, my pants bursted into flames as I uttered gentle words coated with sugar. I saw honesty and decided to give you peace. They told us the truth is heavy, and I saw you were weak. I said what you could handle, not what would murder you. I refuse to stand on trial because I pushed you off the edge without a second thought. So I figured because I do write, if you are a writer, I lied without writing, I lied. The truth stood behind me, silent while I handed you something prettier. And I was like, well, I could do that.